How to study for any course, a practical guide. Should I choose any course? Maybe. Well, have you ever heard someone say, I can't study right now because I will forget? Implying that because the test is in 3 weeks, that if they were to do the study now, they would forget everything. And so there's no point in studying right now. You ever heard that? Mm. Oh, I took this class last semester, so I can't help you. I can't remember anything. That was like, so last semester. Um, or all I can tell you is that I passed all my tests. Um, you know, but I didn't really actually take anything away from the class. Right? But hey, I passed all my tests, right? 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 Well, there's something that you must always remember, and that is this right here. There's only one way that your education can be taken from you, and that is if you've never had it in the first place. And so that's something that we have to consider right here. The process of studying is the process of us making that information ours and making that information useful to us so that when we go on to other challenges and other problems, we will be able to solve and work through our problems. Well, as we go, there are certain basic ideas and concepts, some of you which you've already seen, some you may not have, that you need to be familiar with. The first is the testing effect. In the testing effect, what we see is very simply that if you take an exam twice, generally speaking, you will do better on the second exam if it's the same exam, if you're given feedback on your progress. So if I take an exam, 5 questions, I get 3 questions wrong. But then we go back and understand why we got those 3 questions wrong. If I was to take the exact test again, I generally speaking will do better. Another important idea is the forgetting curve, which we have talked about a little bit already. But Engbas, on his research, found that over time, we simply lose information that we don't practically try to hold on to. And that is linked to the spacing effects, where if we go back and review information and restart that knowledge process, the rate at which we lose information slows down, and thus we hold on to information for a longer period if we go through that process of spacing and reviewing and trying to understand the information that we have. Now, active learning, as well as active studying, has to do with the idea that if we work in groups, that social structures and the people that we work with and we understand and we learn from can help us learn more efficiently. For example, visiting a professor or working with a group of students or teaching a group of students. Um, the active part there deals with the idea of us using our brain to try to question, to understand, and to figure out how and why things work. And then there's the deep versus the surface learning. Again, we see a little bit of this right here, but the deep on the surface learning right here reflects the concepts of trying to connect and understand information versus trying to simply memorize terms and ideas, hoping that that'll be enough for when the test comes around. Now, why? Now, also, generally speaking, there's a divide between the student and the professor in terms of expectations when it comes to study. Most professors had to work hard to get to the place where they are, and that's what they expect from students. While students often have their knowledge from what they did in high school, and and that sets the expectations for how hard they expect work. And so often, when professors are giving advice or speaking to students, often what they are hearing from the professor and what the student is hearing have different meanings. And last but not least is that we first have to recognize that we can grow, but we also need to recognize that that's hard work, and also we need to recognize why we are doing what we're doing and how that affects how far we will go. All of these put together to get us to a place where we can make our studying more effective, more efficient, and hopefully a lot more successful.